Gambel's quail is a common species found in the southwestern parts of the United States. Average mature birds are about 11 inches long, and both sexes have a special type of feather known as plumes on their head. Gambel's quail can only fly short distances, and they mainly travel on foot instead of in the air. The Gambel's quail that I studied and recorded were found in a residential neighborhood in Cave Creek, Arizona. A common behavioral trait of the quail is the behavior of scratching the ground. The scratching movement consists of the quail's feet moving in a back and forth motion to move the rocks, soil, and plant material below them. The causation behind this behavior is the quail's need for food and water. According to Bishop, 1965, the typical diet of the quails consists of a diverse selection of insects, seeds, cactus fruit, and other plants or seeds. These seeds and insects are found on or near the surface of the ground under bushes. Bishop 1965 observed that quail diggings are typically found along hillsides or in small draws, and they are usually under trees or bushes or at the bases of rocks and grass clumps. The scratching serves to move materials and expose any food that was hidden or stuck underneath the surface of the ground. Once they perform the scratching behavior, they are then seen pecking the ground and eating the uncovered or turned up food. The quails seen in the video are found in a residential backyard, but the yard's terrain consists of grassy and rocky areas under bushes and shrubs, similar to the areas they would forage in the wild. The development of a quail chick is important because chicks either learn by experience or are taught by their parents. According to D. Marjorie, 2013, mothers can play a fundamental role in a chick's subsequent ability to cope with their environment by sculpting their offspring's behavioral development. For instance, Mateo and Holmes, 1997, state that the transmission of feeding behavior and anti-predator behavior can affect their survival directly. As the quails develop, quails learn the scratching behavior by observing their parents. Scratching behaviors have evolved in other ground-based bird species like chickens and some sparrows. According to Greenlaw 1977, bilateral scratching is a distinctive behavior typically employed in foraging by some ground-feeding birds such as sparrows. Greenlaw also discusses how ground feeding is a behavior that has originated, evolved, and diversified many times in birds. The main long-term function of the scratching behavior is that it aids in the survival of the species. The behavior increases the quail's overall fitness for a terrestrial lifestyle and the need to find food on the ground. The scratching also provides them the opportunity to obtain water in the desert. According to Leopold 1985, quails don't always get their water by drinking from a water source. A lot of their water intake comes from their food. Thus, the scratching behavior aids in their survival in finding both nutrients and water. According to Leopold 1985, scratching is a characteristic foraging behavior. In the feeding and foraging lesson, I learned about generalists and specialists, which I can apply to my study of Gambel's quail. Specialists have a narrow and fixed food base, and generalists have a broad and adaptable food base. Gambel's quail are generalists. They have a broad food base, they can eat many different types of foods, and their beaks aren't specially adapted for one type of food source. Gambel's quail can be found in several states, including Texas, Nevada, Colorado, and Arizona. Different types of seeds and insects exist in each of these states, but quail can live across this wide range because they are generalists.